Hey guys, Mr. Catlin here, looking at your homework for this week, and I'm going to post these videos to help you out. Let's get started with writing these subtractions as additions. So a couple of different ways you can do this, going from subtraction to addition. The easiest way is to use our rule, which we developed this week and we talked about, which is adding the opposite. So the easiest way to do this is to change this to a plus the opposite of 9, which is negative 9. Will equal 6. Now, there's another way you could do this, and I would totally accept this. If you think of this as the way that Tyler would set these up in our examples we did this week, remember he always started with the sum. So you could think of A as your answer, and 9 plus 6 will tell you what that is. And of course, 9 plus 6 is 15, and you could put 15 in either one of these equations, and it would work. So you could do it either way. Okay, you can add the opposite, like I show here, adding the opposite of 20, which is negative 20, to get negative 30. Or a better way to find out what P is, you can add 20 and negative 30, which, to find out that it's negative 10. So either one of those ways would be fine, and I'll do that for each one of these. You can add the opposite, z, plus the opposite of 12, negative 12, which is 12. That would be true. Or you could take the answer there, right? To find the answer of z, set that up as your sum, and then add the other two numbers together, negative 12 and 15, which would tell you that the answer is 3. So if I put 3 in either one of those z places, it would be true. All right, and the last one, we could add the opposite. X plus 7 is negative 10. Or to find out what x is, we could add these other two numbers together, negative 7 and negative 10, which is negative 17, which would work for all of those. I'm fine either way. You can do both. You can do one or the other. I'm not going to be picky on grading those, okay? Then we just got to find the difference in these. So we're just, we're using what we learned this week. Obviously, that's going to be 5. You can write that as 4 plus negative 9. You can see that that's going to be negative 5. Add the opposite here is going to be just 9 plus 4 to give you 13. And then when you add the opposite on this one, you're going to have to subtract because the signs are different and the negatives win, right? So I would suggest doing that. If you get stuck, like it says, draw a number line, all right? I'm going to do these pretty quick because I'm really a fan of doing them without the number line. But if you feel like that's where you want to go with it, have at it. But I'm going to rewrite them as add the opposite. Signs are the same, so I'm going to add them and get negative 13 because negatives win my absolute value. For this next one here, I'm going to add the opposite. 4 plus opposite of negative 9 is 9. That's simple. That's 13. The following problem, these are all related to each other, as you can tell. Add the opposites. The signs are different. So I subtract 9 minus 4. That's why I get 5. And the positive takes the sign there. So that's why that one's positive 5. And then when I add the opposite here, I get negative 9 when I add its opposite. They're on the same team, so add them together, and the negatives win the absolute value battle. So those are all ways that you can do those problems. Restaurant bill is $59. You pay $72. What percentage gratuity did you pay? I'm going to do a table for this one. All right, percentage versus value. We know that the restaurant bill was fully 100% $59. But we ended up paying a total of 72. So we're trying to find out what extra percentage did we go over 100. And we could do that by taking these two numbers here and dividing them and finding the constant of proportionality. So when we do that, 59 divided by 100 is going to be 0.59. So we know that this is 0.59 to get from here to here. So to go backwards, we could divide by 0.59 or multiply by 0.59's reciprocal. And I think it would be easier to simply do 72 divided by 0.59 to find out how much extra percentage that we paid on there. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to pull up my Desmos calculator, and I'm going to do that division right now. So 72 divided by 0.59. Let's see what we get. 72 divided by 0.59. We get 122-ish. We're going to round that to about 122. So if that's the case, if this is 122, then how much gratuity did we give? Well, it would go from 100 to 122, and that's a difference of 22. So about 22%. We left a little over 20%, which is a nice tip. That's pretty good. Find the solution to the equations mentally. So you're doing these in your head. What number can we add to 30 and get 40? That would be 10. Next one. What number could we add to 500 and drop down to 200? Well, it'd have to be negative, and it would have to be their difference, which would be 300. The next one. What number could we add to -1 and get to -2? Well, we'd have to combine it with another negative, so we would add, and it would have to add to 1 to get 2, and so that would be -1. The next one is going to be D equals. And what number could we add to this to make 0? We would need, to make a sum that equals 0, you need additive inverses. So you just need the opposite of the number that you're adding. Pretty easy stuff there. And that finishes our first page of homework. This was lesson 5.5.